Okay, hi everyone. So in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the Maproom plugin, which is a plugin for 3ds Max. So you can see it already installed up here on the toolbar menu. If you open it up, you're presented with this screen. The first thing that we're going to be doing is developing a terrain mesh that has undulating heights, so heights that reflect the topology as it is. We open it up here, and the first thing it asks you to do is to define the map space, so we can put in a location. For this, I'm just going to do Flinders Street Station. So that we can model up the central Melbourne CBD. Update the space. We then go into the terrain layer. And what we want to do is define the total area that we want it to download. So we might go, actually might go a little bit smaller than that. Usually 5 by 5 is a good area for it to download. We might have a look at what resolution we want the terrain image to download at. And then we want to estimate the zoom levels, and that will update these two aspects here. So we also want to specify a satellite image source, and the Mapbox terrain is usually a pretty good one to use. So then we'll hit update map images, and that will download. From there, we'll continue on. So here we have the terrain mesh all downloaded and looking good. We can see that it has a little bit of height to it, and it tends to follow the undulations of Melbourne CBDs and surrounding inner areas terrain. So there are a few issues that we can see with this. The first underneath is that it hasn't generated it super smoothly. So we can reduce the number of iterations here. Under the modifier panel, we click on the mesh DEM and reduce those iterations down, and it will tidy it up a bit. The next thing we're going to do is to create, back in our Maproom dialog box, create the OpenStreetMap layer. Created a couple too many there, so we'll just delete those. Again, we want to make sure that the width is marrying up with what's on the base layer. And then we get the option here as to what we want to select from OpenStreetMap. So in this case, we want all of the OpenStreetMap data. We want to align it to the ground plane, and then we just go ahead and hit download. So now we have all of that downloaded here. We can turn our mesh layer off. Here it is there. And we can start to see the different layers here in the layer panel. The next thing that we want to do is to start to extrude up our building elements. So to do this, we come to the OSM style sheet, hit apply style sheet, and it will take the inbuilt height data from OSM and extrude those elements up to their height. So here we have them all finished, and we can see all of those buildings extruded. So we can see here that we've got a slight problem in that the terrain is sitting not super well in relation to the the buildings that essentially it's coming up and covering a lot of those buildings. So what we can do is just try to move that down slightly so that it starts to fit those a bit better. In another tutorial, we'll work through how to bring those buildings, which you can see if we jump outside of the viewport. You can see, sitting in a flat plane largely. We'll have a look at how we can glue those down onto the exact heights of the terrain mesh.